Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford has finally found his way out of Old Trafford. The England forward has joined Aston Villa on loan until the end of the season, and he's been talking to Villa TV about why he chose them to resurrect his career.
You know, I think they're a club that's in a good position in the league and they're pushing to get higher. Still in the Champions League. Good manager, ambitious manager, great talent in the squad. And, you know, I've had to choose somewhere where I feel like my style of football is suited to and can help them and help me rediscover and improve as a player. Obviously, it's only short term that I'm here, so I want to make the most of my time here. And, yeah, the only way to do that is by using my attributes and my skill sets to help the team.
Dan is sold down the river. I've seen this as a United fan. I know about the positive words of Marcus Rashford and how it fills you with belief and joy and anticipation. And Dan is now in that moment, which is great to see him smiling. Dan, why do you think this deal will be good? Why do you think it's going to work out for Marcus Rashford at your club?
The simple way of putting it is that I think a change of environment will be very good for Marcus Rashford. People will throw at him that there's been 3 or 4 managers he's had at Manchester United now where it's not worked and things have gone awry. But I would say that during that time, obviously he's in the same place, the same team, the same environment. So sometimes you do need a change and a refresh in your career, and he's never had one before. I think he's coming to a club that are on the up. There's a lot of things going right at Aston Villa that aren't happening at Manchester United. No disrespect to the Manchester United manager, but I think it's a step up in terms of manager. Unai Emery is proven at getting the best out of players. He's improved nearly every player at Villa. He's a moulder and a shaper of footballers, and I believe he'll get the best out of Marcus Rashford. He really wants Marcus Rashford. That signing has only happened because Unai Emery wants him, and he believes that Marcus Rashford can be one of the most dangerous forwards in Europe if he gets him right, and he'll back himself to get him right. So I just think he's got something to prove as well. I think even just the first training session at Villa, it'll just hit the reset button for him, and he's trying to impress new teammates. He's trying to impress a new manager in a new place. I think it's really big for him. He's kind of just lost himself completely when he's down, which he feels like he has been at Manchester United for a long time. You're not going to see the best of him. And I just think the way we play in general, how good we are in transition, you only have to watch Rodgers and Watkins and how effective they've been in transition, Jacob Ramsey. That's where Marcus Rashford will come alive, and I firmly believe that once he gets himself match sharp and match fit again, he'll start firing for Villa. I'm really excited about it. Really excited.
I think there's like a multitude of ways of looking at it from a United perspective in terms of Marcus Rashford was trying to secure a move around Europe, scouring Europe. The deals didn't really come in that matched it economically for him. It gets to late in the window. And in my opinion, he's told, listen, if you don't move, you're not playing, so you need to go somewhere. That's not me just saying that Villa were just the only team there, so that's the only reason, because I actually agree with everything you just said about stylistically it fits. I actually think his parameters should have been probably looking more towards that anyway.
But the Villa move wasn't there, was it, until the end of the window? Because John Duran went. If John Duran hadn't gone, Villa aren't in for Marcus Rashford.
Exactly.
So
and the way you play, like I said, in transition, I can see that. He's got his work cut out though. There is this sort of thing that Marcus Rashford's an automatic starter. I think Jacob Ramsey would have something to say about that. I think Ollie Watkins would have something to say about that. Maybe through the mid, I know might have a little bit of an injury, etc. But Villa's full of hard work. Unai Emery will have something to say about that. Like you said, there's high standards. Unai Emery is the one who wants him, but this is up to Marcus to show why he should start over Jacob Ramsey. Why in some of the big games you just start over John McGinn on the left when you need a bit of steel, you need people doing the right things. But I have no doubt, I think personally, and a lot of Man United fans disagree with me, and other fans disagree with me, I think he's going to run around. I think he's going to be confident. I think you will see a turn from him early doors. The only thing that I picked up at the beginning of when he was talking that interview is, and you spoke about it a little bit because it didn't bother you, but I just thought him saying that I'm only here for a short amount of time, so I just want to do the best. And I know he could end up being there for a short amount of time, but I'm like, there's an option of 40 million. You could be there for the next 5 years if it goes right. It felt like he was just basically dispelling that. And my feeling is, I feel that Marcus will think that if he can perform well in this period, his agents and stuff will be saying, everyone will be with you in the summer. Villa in the Champions League, so he's in the European stage playing at the highest level. And for you and the club, I hope you guys, and for him, I hope you guys go far. I hope you have a really good go at it. He will get his teeth into that. He's competing in the Premier League, so he's not sort of out of sight, out of mind in a league that's not really watched. He's still here. So I think he will think he'll have suitors in the summer. My only criticism of this move is, you know, when you say he's in a different environment, etc., I'm not so sure what will change for him in his life. For me, it seemed like it hit such a lull that he needed to go abroad. He needed to get into a different country and almost be a little bit out of sight, out of mind. I don't know, and this is something that Marcus Rashford's got to answer. The proof will be in the pudding. Him going down a few junctions of the M6 probably won't move house. Probably going to still be back. Not, do you know what I mean? Going to get driven to train and everything. Could he fall into or stay into the same habits that have made him maybe unhappy off the pitch, etc., etc.? I don't know. But that was one of the things I picked up on. I thought that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Your first point on what he said in the interview, I've no problem with that at all, because contractually, that it's a fact.
It's a fact.
What he said. Yes, there's it's not a mandatory fee in there. It's an optional fee. But if he does well, I think he'd probably want to stay at Villa, and Villa have success. He'd probably want to stay there because that's good for his career. On the moving thing, I don't think many players who play for English teams and move to another English team on loan would move house. Obviously, he'll have a driver. Obviously, nobody travelling around in comfort. That's not going to be a problem for him. I imagine he'll spend some time
in
at
Marcus
the
Rashford's
Belfry
position, who needs that refresh and that reset.
But what I would say is, I think all the negative stuff in his life and all the stuff that's been a negative at Manchester United, I think that filters down from the football side. If the football side is right and things are going well, the rest comes with it. At Manchester United, the football side isn't going well. It hasn't been going well for a long time. The environment hasn't been good for a long time. So it filters down into his personal life, and he does things as a young person would that he shouldn't do. And I'm not saying he's a saint. He's done some things he shouldn't have done at Manchester United. I don't think he's a bad person or a bad egg. I think he just made some bad decisions at times.
Are you concerned or are you relishing the fact of having somebody basically at this point in his career, 27, wants to get back into England career, has had a bad 18 months, you know, loads written about him, some his fault, some not. That noise, you know, the superstardom, because, you know, no disrespect to Villa.
It will quieten down that stuff, won't it?
Yeah. Do you relish that, like, actually to embrace that, to think, Unai will get him sorted, he'll be fine? Or do you think, well, if this goes wrong and all of a sudden the headlines and it could actually destabilise, you know, the focus could be all on Marcus Rashford? Because now, tenfold, it's all going to be Marcus Rashford. Aston Villa are doing amazingly well. You've got some big players. But I'm telling you now, it's all going to be about Marcus Rashford every game.
Very few transfers come without risk, and there's obviously some risks there. Villa are paying, if it goes well, 90% of his salary. But that's only if it goes well. Well, not really, because it means if we're doing well and he's doing well, we'll pay 90%, and that's not a problem, is it?
Even up to 70%?
70 whatever, isn't it?
A lot of money.
It's a risk, but I think it's a risk worth taking. And Emery's obviously identified something that he thinks he can work with, and he's the one that wants him, and that's good enough for me at the end of the day. Unai Emery has transformed this football club, and whatever he says for me, I'm going to go along with, because I believe in that manager so much, and I believe he's that good. From Rashford's perspective as well, it's not just a fresh challenge, but you're going to think I'm doing this as a dig, and I'm not. But at the moment, where both clubs are,
Villa are better than Man
United. I actually think moving from Manchester United to Villa right now, that is a step up, because Villa are in the last 16 of the Champions League.
Of course it's a
he's
step
paying
up
for one of the best managers in Europe, and he's coming into a team that we've not been as good as last season, but we've still got a lot to play for.
The only difference is, Dan, you're right. I was literally retweeted something with somebody laughing at something on X, and I was like, funny thing is, Villa are a better side than us.
Yeah.
But in Marcus Rashford's mind, and again, I know you might not get too concerned with this, this is the guy who wanted to displace Lamine Yamal. This is the guy who wanted to displace Rafael Leao. He had his heart set at the beginning of this window on going to that type of club. And again, Villa are a huge football club, and I actually think it's more aligned. I think it's more realistic for Rashford, I don't want to say to come back to the real world, but to sort of have an angle of, mate, you've been inactive for a while. Someone like Villa's actually perfect for you. Forget Barcelona, mate. Forget like that. Relax a little bit. Just on the Villa front, is he an automatic starter? Is it obviously going in on the left? What does it look like up front? How does he actually, because Jacob Ramsey's had his injury problems, but he's come back, he's doing really well. Morgan Rogers in the 10 has been really good. Marcus Rashford spent some time off the front sometimes. He's tried to play as a striker quite a few times for United. We came to the conclusion, that that's not his best position, but he has played there. He can play on the right, but not great for United. Where's he going to fit into this Villa side?
It's interesting because obviously Villa have signed Asensio.
Exactly.
As well.
And Asensio's a good player.
What I'm looking at the moment is I think that the right number 10 maybe. I think Villa are going to play with three kind of number 10s there. The person who plays on the left isn't a wide player for Villa.
So like it was at Man United then?
I think if we look back to how Villa played with Watkins up top and Diaby playing as a support striker, the more I speak to people, I've done a pod today with the Villa's athletic guy. Could be that he's the second striker and just given a little bit of licence and freedom to drift around and play in transition. I think Diaby didn't have to do a lot of defensive work last season when he was at Villa, and that obviously might suit Marcus Rashford. He's got a little bit of an opportunity because, by the sounds of it, Watkins isn't going to be fit for Sunday against Spurs in the FA Cup. So it's not a big injury,
but just
a week.
Yeah.
But so I think
play him up front.
He may play up front on Sunday and start that game in the FA Cup, which is the perfect start against Spurs with their defence, isn't it?
It really is.
He'll score on Sunday if he plays.
It is a perfect start. The only thing is, if you have to play up front long than that, I'm telling you now, he does not and will not occupy that line like Ollie Watkins can. Back to goal,
no one
holding
will,
up the ball,
no one will.
Running in behind. Honestly, it's got to be a different version of Marcus Rashford. Rate that signing on loan out of 10.
I can't do that now, can I?
Your prediction of what that signing will be out of 10 by the end of it?
I predict that Marcus Rashford by the summer internationals will be back in the England squad.
Confirmed. He's not on that plane to the World Cup.
Well, that's a year. That's 12 months away, mate.
Yeah.
But I'm saying he'll be back in the England squad for the summers under Tuchel.
I know what you're like with your predictions.
Unbelievable prediction.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.